Alongside Ben McKee, I'm Austin Price. VolQuest Positional Previews roll on. Day 2, talking running backs, Jawari Small, Jalen Wright, Justin Williams-Thomas. And then after that, it gets a little more murky with the, some different guys who haven't played a whole lot, and really neither's Justin Williams-Thomas at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a running back room that isn't super dynamic. I think that's why you saw Josh Heupel and his offensive staff.
They looked, they tried.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's where I was going, and it's because the room isn't dynamic. But my point in saying that is that I still think it's a solid room, a solid room that can get the job done. Probably not going to lose you in any football games, but may also not go win you a game. I do think you lose the best back on last year's team in Tyon Evans, but the best availability is availability, right? And Tyon wasn't available for most of the year. So Jawari Small, you can count on him to be kind of the steady Eddie of the room, and hopefully some of these young guys, Justin Williams-Thomas that you mentioned, Jalen Wright, maybe can he take a sophomore step that really helps his team? And Laneith Whitehead, can he contribute any? I think that's the big question mark.
Whitehead's an interesting guy for me because he's the biggest of the backs. Tennessee's looking for that big power guy. He finally kind of got his feet wet. He hadn't played in a couple of years because he had that Liz Frank injury coming out of high school. He's never going to be a burner, but can he develop into that guy that can pick you up a 3rd and 1 or a 3rd and 2 or a 4th and 1 or whatever in short yardage situations? And then what's Jalen Wright look like? He's put on a lot of weight this offseason. How has that transformed him? You know what I mean? I think that play along the goal line down there at the Music City Bowl, that kind of set with him all offseason. He's kind of really went to work, got himself in the weight room, put on a bunch of weight. But how much, is he still the same speed guy? Or has he lost a step putting on this extra weight? I'm just kind of interested to see what he says or what he looks like. And then Jawari Small, he's the guy, the leader of the room. He's the leader at that position. But can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
Like last year, he kind of had those nicks and bruises at times that kept him off the field at times.
Yeah, look, I like the guys in the room. Me saying that it's not a dynamic room isn't me trying to slight them. But there's a reason that the coaches went out and looked for another guy. But I still like Jawari Small and what he can bring to the table. He's very consistent if he can stay healthy. He's going to be a tough runner and fight for extra yards and all those lovely things that running back coaches love. And Jalen Wright, I think he can have a terrific sophomore season. We talk about the leap from year 1 to year 2. I think he can take a huge leap. I don't know if it's an all-conference type of leap, but I think he can be a real weapon on this football team that can help Hendon Hooker and maybe relieve some stress of a receiver position that is looking for a number 2 guy behind Cedric Tillman. I think Jalen Wright can be that guy, both running with the ball and both catching the ball out of the backfield. I agree with you on Laneith Whitehead. He looked good in spring. I know it was against some iffy trench play, some iffy linemen on the defensive side during spring, but he was a guy that did get the job done in short yardage situations. He certainly has the body to do so. And when you see Justin Williams-Thomas walking around here, you wonder if he should be playing linebacker just in terms of how he looks. So I think even he's a guy that can help in short yardage situations.
You say that the room is not flashy or whatever. I agree with you 100%. Let me tell you what I'm going to compare it to. The 2007 wide receiver room. They didn't have Swain. They didn't have Meacham. They didn't have Brett Smith anymore. What did they have? They had Lucas Taylor. They had Josh Briscoe. They had Austin Rogers. They had Quentin Hancock. That was a really solid group of receivers. None of them were like, hey, throw me the ball. I'm going to get it and get you 150 yards and a touchdown. But collectively, they were really good. Can this group be that? Can they be collectively a really good unit? I think there's potential. The one X factor here for me, and we haven't talked about him to this point, is Dylan Sampson. He didn't get here till summertime, so he's not been through spring. You've not got to see him in spring practice like you have the other guys like Justin Williams-Thomas. What's he bring? He's got a special skill set. He's smaller. He's more dynamic. He's faster, and he's got more wiggle. So what does he bring to the offense? To me, that's a big question mark heading into fall camp is, can he give them anything?
Yeah, and look, I think the thing that needs to be talked about the most isn't necessarily what they can do with the ball in their hands, but how are they going to be as pass protectors helping Hendon Hooker, especially with some question marks at tackle opposite of Darnell, wherever Darnell ends up lining up. The running backs are going to have to help in pass protection. I mean, it's that simple. Can it be the freshman, Justin Williams-Thomas? Can it be a Laneith Whitehead? I think that's as important as anything they're going to do with the ball in their hands, just to help Hendon Hooker try to get the ball to Cedric Tillman.
That's a look at the running backs. We'll continue on tomorrow with the wide receivers. VolQuest Positional Previews roll on.